Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Ready to explore something pretty mind-blowing.
Always.
Today we're diving into the world of quantum networks.
Ooh, okay.
Specifically, how they can make eavesdropping, well, a thing of the past.
I like the sound of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, to guide our deep dive, we're turning to an essay by Jorgo Schneeppert
Okay.
called Eavesdropping Proof Quantum Networks, Security of the Future. Catchy title.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a fascinating read.
All right.
Schneeppert really emphasizes this idea as our reliance on digital communication just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Traditional encryption.
Yeah.
The way we protect information now might not be enough.
Interesting.
And, Schneeppert, he really dives into this idea
Yeah.
that quantum computers could actually crack the codes that protect our data today.
Yeah. That's one of the things that is both exciting and terrifying about quantum computers.
Right.
The potential is huge.
Yeah.
But they could also be used for some not so good things.
Exactly.
And Schneeppert really highlights that.
Yeah. And he doesn't sugarcoat it either.
Right.
He paints a pretty stark picture of what could happen if our online world, everything we do online, banking, shopping, communicating, all of it, is protected by traditional encryption and suddenly faces the power of quantum computers.
It's not a pretty picture.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So this is where quantum networks come in.
Okay.
Schneeppert argues that these networks actually use quantum mechanics.
Now that sounds complicated.
It is, but it's also super cool.
All right, I'm listening.
So think about things like entanglement,
Okay.
where particles are linked no matter how far apart they are.
Whoa, that's like magic.
I know, right?
Mhm.
It's almost like magic, but
Yeah.
it's real science.
Okay.
And Schneeppert explains how this entanglement can be used to create keys
Right.
that are impossible to copy or intercept.
So like a lock that changes every time someone tries to pick it.
Exactly. You got it.
Oh.
So even if someone tried to eavesdrop, they would actually disrupt the entanglement. And both the sender and the receiver would know.
So it's like a built-in alarm system.
Exactly. Schneeppert uses that very analogy in his essay.
Nice.
It's really clever.
So how does all of this work in practice?
Well, Schneeppert highlights two key quantum key distribution protocols.
Okay.
They're called BB84 and E91.
All right. Those sound pretty technical.
They are, but stick with me.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
He explains how these protocols use photons.
Photons.
Yeah, particles of light.
Oh,
To
okay.
generate these unbreakable keys.
So it's light that's carrying the secret information.
Exactly. And because of the way quantum mechanics works,
Right.
any attempt to intercept these photons would actually change their state.
Huh.
So the eavesdropper would be immediately detected.
That's pretty clever.
It is, right. It's like turning the very act of eavesdropping into a detectable event.
So it's not just about making it difficult to eavesdrop.
Right.
It's about making it impossible to eavesdrop without being caught.
Exactly. Schneeppert really drives that point home.
That's a game changer.
It is, right. It's like a whole new level of security.
Yeah, so these quantum networks, are they like a thing of the future, or are they already being used?
Well, that's the really exciting part. Schneeppert gives us some real-world examples of how these networks are already being used.
Okay, let's hear it.
For example, Schneeppert talks about China's Mischief satellite.
The Mischief satellite.
Yeah, it's actually been up there since 2016.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that far along.
Yeah, it's been instrumental in demonstrating that global quantum communication is possible.
So we're not just talking theory here.
No, this is real-world stuff.
That's incredible.
And Schneeppert highlights how this satellite was used for a secure video conference between Beijing and Vienna.
Wow, between continents.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So this is actually happening.
It is. And it shows the potential of these networks to revolutionize international communications security.
I can see how this would be hugely important for governments and businesses.
Absolutely. But Schneeppert also talks about applications beyond just government secrets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, think about things like secure financial transactions or protecting critical infrastructure like power grids.
Right. Those are systems that we really can't afford to have compromised.
Exactly.
And Schneeppert even mentions revolutionizing healthcare data sharing.
Yeah, so much sensitive information there.
Absolutely.
It's clear that the potential of these networks is huge.
Yeah, it sounds like it could touch so many different aspects of our lives.
It really could. But Schneeppert doesn't just sing the praises of quantum networks.
Oh.
He also brings up some serious challenges.
Like what?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the limited range of these networks.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
Right. I mean, quantum signals, they tend to degrade over long distances.
So how do we solve that?
Well, Schneppad talks about the development of quantum repeaters.
Quantum repeaters?
Yeah, they're kind of like signal boosters for quantum networks.
Ah, I see.
But they're still under development.
So there's still work to be done?
There is.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see the progress being made.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's the issue of cost.
Right. These technologies are probably pretty expensive right now.
They are. Schneppad acknowledges that.
So that could be a barrier to wider adoption.
It could be. But as with any new technology, we often see costs come down over time as research and development progresses.
That makes sense.
So it's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Okay, so challenges aside,
Yeah.
Schneppad seems pretty optimistic about the future of quantum networks.
He is. And reading his essay, I have to admit, I'm feeling pretty optimistic too.
Me too. It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
But Schneppad also emphasizes that it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about using it responsibly.
That's an important point.
He argues that international collaboration and a strong ethical framework are essential.
I can see why.
We need to make sure that this technology benefits everyone and doesn't exacerbate existing power imbalances.
Yeah, we don't want to create a quantum divide.
Exactly. Schneppad uses that very term.
It's a complex issue.
It is. And one that deserves careful consideration.
Absolutely. So there's a lot more to explore here.
There is a lot more to unpack.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. Okay, so we've talked about the potential of quantum networks, the challenges they face, and the ethical considerations. But Schneppad doesn't just leave us hanging with all these abstract ideas.
Right.
He gives us some really concrete examples of how these networks are already being used in the real world.
All right. I'm all ears.
So, we touched on China's MISHIS satellite earlier.
Yeah, the one launched back in 2016.
That's the one.
Okay.
And Schneppad, he really dives into the details of this thing.
So what's so special about it?
Well, for one thing, it's been instrumental in demonstrating that global quantum communication is actually feasible.
That's pretty significant.
It is.
So we're not just talking about lab experiments here.
No, this is the real deal.
That's impressive.
And Schneppad highlights how it was used for a secure video conference between Beijing and Vienna.
Whoa, between continents.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Right?
Yeah, that's incredible.
It really showcases the potential of these networks to revolutionize how we think about international communication security.
I can see how that would be a game changer.
Right. Imagine a world where sensitive diplomatic conversations or international financial transactions are completely secure from eavesdropping.
Yeah, that would be huge.
But it's not just China making moves in this space.
Oh.
Schneppad also points to initiatives in other parts of the world.
Like where?
Well, he talks about the U.S. Department of Energy.
Okay.
They have this initiative to develop a quantum network that connects all of their national laboratories.
So like a nationwide quantum internet?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And then there's the European Union. They have this program called the Quantum Flagship Program.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a massive investment focused on research and development of all sorts of quantum technologies.
Right.
Including quantum communication.
It's encouraging to see these kinds of investments being made.
It is right. It shows that governments and research institutions are taking this seriously.
Definitely.
But, it's easy to get caught up in the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about the more practical applications.
Like how this technology could actually be used in everyday life.
Exactly, like beyond just government secrets and research labs.
Right, right.
So Schneppad dives into that as well.
Okay, good.
And one area he's particularly excited about is financial security.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Imagine online banking and financial transactions that are completely immune to hacking.
That would be a dream.
It would. And Schneppad suggests that using quantum key distribution, we could create an impenetrable shield for all of our financial data.
That would be a game changer for sure.
Especially with cyber attacks becoming more and more sophisticated these days.
Absolutely. It seems like every other day there's a new data breach.
It's scary. And Schneppad, he doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
He also talks about the importance of protecting critical infrastructure.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
Think about things like power grids, transportation systems, air traffic control.
Right, systems that we really can't afford to have disrupted.
Exactly. And these systems are becoming more and more reliant on digital communication.
Making them prime targets for cyber attacks?
Unfortunately, yeah. And Schneppad argues that by securing the communication channels within these systems, Using quantum networks,
Right.
we can make them significantly more resilient.
So we're not just talking about protecting data anymore.
No.
We're talking about protecting essential services.
Right. It's about national security, public safety, the whole 9 yards.
It's a big deal.
It is, and it's something that Schneepat clearly takes very seriously.
Okay.
But he doesn't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
He also talks about healthcare.
Okay.
You know how much sensitive information is stored in medical records?
Oh, yeah, a ton.
And it's constantly being shared between doctors, hospitals, insurance companies.
Right, and it's all very vulnerable.
It is. But Schneepat suggests that quantum networks could revolutionize how we share this data.
Interesting, how so?
Well, imagine a world where medical records and all that sensitive patient information are protected with an unprecedented level of security.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
It could enhance privacy, improve collaboration among healthcare providers, and potentially even lead to new medical breakthroughs.
Wow.
It's really exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is. But, we keep coming back to these challenges that Schneepat brings up.
Yeah, the cost, the range.
Are these just hurdles that we need to overcome,
Yeah.
or are they potential deal breakers?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And Schneepat acknowledges that there's still a lot of work to be done. He
Oh.
talks about the need for further research and development
Right.
to make these networks more practical and affordable.
Oh, that makes sense.
And he specifically points to quantum repeaters as a key area of focus.
Right, those signal boosters.
Exactly. And he explains how these devices could extend the range of quantum networks.
Making them more viable for wider use?
Precisely. But the thing is, they're still in development.
So there's still a ways to go.
There is. But, reading Schneepat's essay, I'm struck by the sense of optimism.
Yeah, me too.
Like, we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary.
It feels that way.
But it's not just about the technology itself, right?
No, it's about using it responsibly.
It's a key point that Schneepat keeps coming back to.
Yeah.
He emphasized that the development of these networks needs to be guided by ethical considerations.
Because this technology could be very powerful.
Exactly. And he raises concerns about the potential for quantum divide.
Right. Where some countries or organizations have access to this technology and others don't.
And that could create new forms of inequality and insecurity.
Yeah, we need to be careful about that.
Schneepat argues that international collaboration and a strong ethical framework are essential.
I agree.
We need to make sure that this technology benefits everyone.
And that it doesn't exacerbate existing power imbalances.
That's the goal.
A worthy one.
It is, for sure.
So we've talked about the potential benefits, the challenges, and the ethical considerations.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But I'm curious to hear more about how these networks actually work.
The nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, the science behind all of this.
Well, Schneepat provides some really insightful explanations.
Okay, let's hear it.
He delves into the underlying principles of quantum mechanics.
Now that sounds complicated.
It is, but Schneepat does a great job of breaking it down.
All right, I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Okay, so we're ready to dive into the science behind these quantum networks.
All right, let's do it.
Schneepat provides some really clear explanations.
Okay.
And I have to say, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, quantum mechanics is definitely not your everyday physics.
Not at all. So he starts with one of the most fundamental concepts in quantum mechanics.
Okay.
Entanglement.
Entanglement.
Yeah, it's this spooky action at a distance.
I've heard of that.
Even Einstein struggled to wrap his head around it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So Schneepat explains it like this. You have two entangled particles. And no matter how far apart they are,
Okay.
they can instantly affect each other.
It's like they have this invisible connection.
Exactly, like they're communicating faster than the speed of light.
Which is supposed to be impossible.
I know, right? It's like they're linked by some kind of magic thread.
But it's not magic, it's real science.
It is, and it's one of the things that makes quantum mechanics so fascinating.
So how does this entanglement thing actually play into these quantum networks?
Well, Schneepat explains that it's at the heart of many quantum communication protocols.
Okay.
Including that E91 protocol for quantum key distribution that we talked about.
Right, the one that uses photons.
That's the one. So by generating pairs of entangled photons,
Okay.
we can create keys that are inherently secure.
Because any attempt to intercept them would mess with the entanglement.
Right, exactly. And that would alert both the sender and the receiver.
So it's like a built-in security system.
Yeah, like a tamper-proof seal.
That's pretty clever.
It is right. Schneepat does a good job of explaining how this works.
So how do we actually create these entangled particles?
Well, Schneepat describes a few different methods,
Okay.
but one that he highlights is using special crystals.
Crystals.
Yeah, certain types of crystals.
Okay.
When they're excited by a laser, they emit pairs of entangled photons.
So we're literally using light to create these secure communication channels.
Exactly. We're harnessing the quantum properties of light.
That's incredible.
It is pretty amazing, right?
It's like we're tapping into a whole new realm of physics.
We are, and it's all thanks to quantum mechanics.
So we've got these entangled particles.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to control them, right?
That's the next challenge.
And measure them.
Exactly. We need to be able to manipulate and measure these delicate quantum states.
Which I imagine is no easy feat.
You're right. It requires incredible precision and control.
I can only imagine the kind of technology involved.
It's cutting-edge stuff for sure.
So what kind of techniques are scientists using?
Schneppat mentions a few.
Okay.
Things like interferometry and photon counting.
All right, those are way over my head.
Mine too. But basically, these techniques allow scientists to manipulate and measure individual photons.
Wow.
And to do it with incredible accuracy.
So it's all about precision.
It is, and that's what makes quantum communication so challenging.
But also so powerful.
Exactly. Because once we can control these quantum states,
we
can use them to transmit information in a way that's completely secure.
So it's like a whole new language for communication.
It is, and it's a language that eavesdroppers can't understand.
Okay, so we've talked about entanglement, we've talked about controlling and measuring quantum states, but what about those quantum repeaters that we keep mentioning?
Oh yeah, those are crucial.
Because remember, quantum signals degrade over long distances.
Right, because of losses in the fiber optic cables.
So how do these quantum repeaters help?
Well, Schneppat explains that they use a technique called entanglement swapping.
Entanglement swapping.
Yeah, it's a way of extending entanglement over longer distances.
So kind of like creating a chain of entangled particles.
Exactly. And they also use quantum memory.
Okay.
Which allows them to store quantum information for a short period of time.
So it's like a relay race for quantum information.
A great analogy. And by using these techniques, quantum repeaters can effectively amplify the signal.
Extending the range of the network?
Precisely. And Schneppat argues that this is a critical area of research.
Yeah, because without quantum repeaters, these networks will be limited in their practical applications.
It's a hurdle we need to overcome.
Absolutely. But it's not just about the hardware, is it?
No, it's about the whole ecosystem.
The software, the protocols.
Exactly. Schneppat talks about the need for specialized algorithms for things like quantum error correction.
Right, because quantum systems are very sensitive to noise.
They are. And these algorithms help to mitigate that noise.
And what about network routing?
Yeah, that's another important area.
Because we need to figure out the best way to route quantum information through the network.
Exactly. A complex problem.
But it sounds like there's a lot of exciting work being done.
There is, and Schneppat's essay really captures that excitement.
Yeah, it's clear that this is a field with a lot of potential.
And a lot of challenges.
But that's what makes it so interesting.
It does. It's like we're on the frontier of a whole new technological era.
And who knows what the future holds.
That's the exciting part. And I have to say, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic after reading Schneppat's essay.
Me too. It's clear that quantum networks are more than just a scientific curiosity.
They have the potential to really change the world.
And to do it in a way that's more secure and more private.
Exactly. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. Schneppat's essay really opened my eyes to the possibilities of this technology.
Mine too. And it's given me a whole new set of questions to explore.
That's what I love about these deep dives.
Right. It's not about finding all the answers.
It's about sparking curiosity.
And opening up new avenues for exploration.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of quantum networks.
We hope you enjoyed the dive.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.